Hello there, Morons. It's Victor King of the Morons, taking a break from editing an incredibly complicated for me video on gimmeabreakman. I'm editing a video on gimmeabreakman right now. I'm almost finished. Taking a break right now. Also, by the way, I'm using the Canon T. This is a laundry video, by the way, so you don't have to watch it. Just listen. But I'm using a new. In case you are watching, bleh, I'm using a slightly new setting on the SLR Canon T2i camera, and tell me what you think. It's kind of. I think it's kind of cool. But and I'm also drinking Rising Gold, a new. It says energy tasto. No, energy. That's weird. Energy tasto. Energy taste. And it's got 5% alcohol. It's by Suntory, and kind of tastes like Mountain Dew. A little medicine-y, you know. I actually started this video a minute ago, but I was eating pizza, and I decided it was the sound of me munching on pizza was just too disgusting, so I started the video over. So, as like I said, I'm taking a break from another video, but I do want to answer a question. One of you, a couple of you will ask me again and again and again until I answer, which is good. So if I'm not answering your questions, send it again. The squeaky wheel gets answered, gets the grease, gets the oil. So this squeaky wheel, I'm not going to say his or her name, but I just want to tell you a little bit about them. They are studying early childhood education, and they want to know about coming to Japan, some kind of exchange program. But the question is about children born with disabilities like autism, cognitive developmental problems. You know, I'm supposing things that Tom Cruise has. What is that? Where you read the letters backwards. I forgot what that's called. I'm having a developmental problem here. You know. Anyway, I've delayed putting answering this question because I honestly don't know the answers to her questions or his questions, but I know that somebody watching this probably does know. So they will hopefully read the answers in the description, or if you prefer, you can write me an email explaining what you do know, or better yet, make a video and tell us about this. But the question is about kids with autism, etc. Do they have the right to an education within the regular Japanese school system? Are they generally included in regular classrooms, or segregated, or God forbid, institutionalized? What is the most common interventions for these children? What, if any, kinds of programs are in place for children with disabilities? Is the overall climate one that is very supportive, or are they sort of marginalized and seen as second-class citizens? So first of all, when it comes to that kind of stuff, many years ago, I was dating a girl who was a social worker or something, where she was getting her degree in social work, and I asked her, I said, I would like to volunteer as an English teacher at an orphanage. But I was told that kids at orphanages had it really nice, they had it really cushy, and they didn't need anything. They didn't need volunteers. So I thought it was interesting. So I'm guessing that, well, of course, I don't know if they're normal kids, but a couple of my students were orphans too. And they're really I mean, one of them's a dentist. The other one was a nurse. You know, they're educated, they're professionals. So I'm thinking that Japan takes care of orphans. Now, that's not exactly the same as a kid with disabilities, but it's definitely not a regular kid, right? I don't really know about, what kids with Down syndrome and stuff. I did see one in the museum the other day. I was with my wife, and we were at the museum, Science Museum here in Fushimi, in Nagoya, and there was a man there with I didn't notice he had two kids. One of them was, I guess, I don't know, for lack of better terms. Oh, let's say not. He was normal. Okay. The other kid had Down syndrome, but and he was in a baby, what is it called, baby car, baby chair, baby carriage. God, I can't think of my vocabulary shot tonight. And I thought he was actually the older of the two. there's two kids, right? I think he was the older one, but because he was in the baby carriage, and he's, smaller, I thought he was still a baby. So I said, "Oh, I think I might have even asked how many months or how old is he?" And the answer was something weird, like, "Oh, he's 6 or something." And I was like, "Whoa!" And then I realized that the kid was he had Down syndrome, and I was playing with the kid. The father and mother were right there, and I was like, I think I was squeezing his toe or something. Like his foot was sticking out, and I kind of squeezed it. And the kid was like really happy, like, "Oh, yay, squeezing my toe." And the dad looked at me and he's like smiled. So the reason I mention this is that you may have heard that in Japan, kids with disabilities are seen as are shunned, and it's a big what's it called, embarrassment to the family if you have one of these kids in your family. I don't think so necessarily. I know another person who has schizophrenia who has schizophrenia. And she goes to, oh yeah, she would know, probably. So she goes to that's not exactly a disability. Well, I guess it is, but so she goes to a school, and everything's like the government pays for everything, she says. She goes to a school that helps her like get jobs and trains her so she can get a job later. And she takes classes actually at my school. And you would never know that she's that way, except sometimes she has bad days and she can't come because she has bad days, And if I don't want to get into the specifics of that. I mean, I have quite a bit of experience with schizophrenia in the past. Not personally, but, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so yeah, she seems to be getting a lot of government help from the government. So I guess the government does take care of their own. Do they go to school with other kids? I don't know. I don't think so. I've never heard of that. I've visited high schools and I've never seen. Well, hold on. I've seen kids who have like limps and stuff. Who. How one leg is short or something. I've seen that at schools before. That's not a cognitive problem though, of course. So I don't know about stuff like that. I will tell you that once in a while in Japan, you'll see like kids or grown adults who act like kids. They'll be on the subway and they'll be like suddenly really loud and yelling and talking to themselves. There's quite a few of those. It's not uncommon. I remember there's this one guy who was like running up and down the train, like that. I'm not trying to make fun. That's exactly what he was doing. He's like, he's running down. And he had a big backpack tied on really tight. And he's just running up and down the train and kind of freaking people out. Most people just ignore that kind of person. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't really talk to him. But yeah, that happens once in a while. You'll see someone just talking, and it's kind of shocking because they're so loud that I remember just like last week I was like because the guy just like shouted on the subway, but I realized it was he wasn't being aggressive, he was just shouting. Anyway, people just ignore them, generally speaking. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Like, should you engage them? I don't think there'd be much of a point. Are they engageable? I don't know, to be honest. So I don't know really. So like I'm saying, I don't really know enough to answer this question. But this person who's asking me the question says they're very curious about how children with disabilities are treated in Japan because my school offers an international placement opportunity for fourth-year students. The catch is it has to be an experience where we wouldn't be able to get in Canada, and we'd have to find and orchestrate a placement position ourselves. I'm very interested in coming to Japan for my placement, so I'm already trying to think of experiences I could get in Japan, but not in Canada. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you get lots of experiences here, but you'd have to find the place, and I honestly don't know where those places are, or if there's anyone who speaks English in those places. I would tend to think that there are probably people there. I remember years ago, this a person in a wheelchair asked me to teach them, and I was like, sure, but it seemed to be like their disability seemed to be a big deal to them. But, I'm sorry, that's physical. That's not really here nor there regarding this topic. But, I can't really tell you much about this. Let's see. Working with children with disabilities in a not so supportive environment would be one idea. I don't know if it's not so supportive. I think it really depends on the family. Though, I have heard there are these shocking stories. I think that just a couple of years ago there was some kid with a disability, could have been autism even, and the mother like smothered him. So that kind of stuff happens, you know. But I think that happens everywhere in the world, you know. I think it really depends on the family. So even if if society is welcoming and supportive, you know, the particular parents may not be. So it's a pot shoot. Is that what it's called? It's a turkey shoot. I don't know. It really depends on your situation, your individual situation. So, well, yeah. So I'm not very helpful. But like I said, if anyone has anything to say about this, please leave it in the comments. I really, really would appreciate it. Or email me, or better yet, make a video. That's all I got for you on that topic, unfortunately. But I'll give you something else in a few minutes. Okay. It's only 3:09. I got lots of time. See ya.